Very nice to have Uber CFO Nelson Chai join us back on set. Of course, you and I had a brief interchange prior to the beginning of trading. Nelson, you're one of the key architects, certainly, of shepherding this company to the public markets. Are you disappointed in the outset here with how you're trading?
No, not at all. You know, David, I said earlier that we really are building a company, right? And so building a generational company will take time. It was important for us that during the roadshow that we got conviction from some of the long-term shareholders, which we believe we have. This is really just a point in time. And we have a lot of execution ahead of us. I think there was consensus on the road about where people think Uber is going to end up over time. I think there's some people on the road that knew there was going to be some noise getting there. And I think that's just reflected in it. It's really on the management team to get back to work now. And we believe in terms of the platform, we can grow our business at scale, unprecedented scale. If you think about how big we've grown over the past few years, from 20 to 35 to 50 billion in gross bookings. In our first quarter, again, we were growing mid-30% above that. And so, we're confident in terms of the road ahead. There's a lot of execution, though, so don't get me wrong. And most important thing for us was to get out, right? So we raised a lot of capital. You did.
You raised a good deal of capital, but you're not getting out exactly in the most successful terms. I mean, do you think that this in any way sets a tone? There are a few examples I can think of, Nelson, of which a high-profile company like this is priced below, or begun trading below syndicate bids.
Well, so this was a little bit of a rough week in the markets. You guys would be no better than me. I think that was down about 300 today. There's a lot of discussion about tariffs, and so if you look at most of the broader markets, I think this was a tough day. And as you know, that matters on sentiment. There have been some IPOs that have not traded as well as you would have liked over time.
Did you think at all about perhaps not postponing, given the volatility this week? To your point, this is the worst week we've seen in the markets all year.
David, I don't think that we're smart enough to try to judge the market, right? So we've worked very hard. We prepared. We were going to move forward. We never viewed today as the day. We weren't optimizing to have the best opening price or the opening day. We're really looking to how the stock continues to trade over time, and that's what we're building for. As you know, it's not my first rodeo. I was fortunate enough to be the person working with John who took the New York Stock Exchange public back in the day. And so we know how this works. And Dara, as you know, is a seasoned veteran as well. And so for us, it was really about moving forward, raising primary capital for the company, and then just getting back to work. We have a lot ahead of us.
Employees perhaps differently than you would have otherwise. I mean, every CFO and CEO who I talk to around an IPO is conscious of how the stock price and the fluctuations of it can weigh on an employee's mindset. You've got a challenge here just because of the way this opened. Despite the fact that you're experiencing this, a lot of your employees are investors and they are not. What do you tell them?
So not surprisingly, when we talk to employees, there's a lot of interest, right, in terms of the Uber IPO and the stock. I think Dara and I have been very consistent in terms of the messaging, which is don't look at the stock price. Don't look at it every day. Do your job. The markets will take care of themselves, right? And so that's really what our focus had been. And so it wouldn't have mattered how we opened. It's not going to matter how it closes today, right? The story is going to be written over time. The company has had an incredible path, as you know. As you know, at Uber, nothing's easy, right? And certainly one of the things that attracted me to the opportunity was the challenge. And I thought I can come in and help. Hopefully I will over time. But the employees really should just focus on executing against the plan. And really that's what the focus should be. And it wouldn't have mattered how the stock opened today or how it's going to trade today. We've been pretty consistent in terms of the message that we've been telling the employees.
One of the questions that's swirling around out there right now for investors is, with Uber now public, with your rival, at least here in North America, Lyft now public, what does this mean in terms of price wars?
Well, so again, we think Lyft was, they made statements which made a lot of sense to us, right? And so on their earnings call, they talked about not competing on incentive, but competing on brand. And so that would be great. And so I think, as you know, we have 69% category position in the U.S. today based on bookings. We're very comfortable operating there. We know that we have a scale advantage. We think that it would be great if we could continue to move forward, and we just competed on service. We're happy to do that.